acts of God versus the ways of God. Verse number 7. 1, 2, read.
He made known his ways unto Moses, his acts unto the children of Israel.
Do you see that? There are two things that are very distinct in that scripture. There are the ways of God, and then there are the acts of God. He made his ways known unto Moses, and then to the rest of the people, it was his acts that were known unto them. Now, there are so many people that come to church today that are exactly like that. And I have to tell you right now, as we are getting started, brothers and sisters, this is an era for you to only know the acts of God and not the ways of God. And so this is not a good scripture at all. This was not a compliment for the children of Israel. It was a compliment to Moses. How is it that it was only Moses who knew the ways of God? So you have to understand that these people, the children of Israel, were accustomed to miracles. They had seen the 10 plagues, how the water turned into blood, the frogs, everything. And not only that, they saw a whole Red Sea parted. And so they had seen the acts of God, but they didn't know the ways of God. And this is exactly what is happening in 2024. We have a lot of Christians who know the acts of God. You know the prophecies, you know miracles. In fact, that's the exact reason why you came to church today. You want to see the acts of God. You want to partake of the acts of God. But do you know the God who is performing the acts? And so when you look at these scriptures, you realize that when we are talking about the ways of God, we are talking about knowing God intimately. Moses knew God intimately. There was a relationship. And for the people who knew his acts, there was no intimacy. There was no relationship to talk about. These are people who just saw God moving, but they never knew him. They barely knew who he was. They just knew we have a God who guides us. In fact, they even saw the pillar of fire. That thing would be there at night. And they also saw the cloud that would guide them by day as they were walking in that wilderness. For 40 years, you are seeing a miracle every day. Oh, I don't know if I'm talking to somebody today. Because we are dissecting your life right now. In case you still think we are talking about the children of Israel, we are talking about you. How many miracles have you seen take place here? How many things have you seen God do? In fact, you've seen your own testimonies. How many things has God done in your life? Who is God talking to today? 40 years long, was I grieved with you, somebody? And said, it is a people that do err in their heart. You have so many errors in your heart, and they have not known my what? Oh, you have to say it out loud. They have not known what? So you can see from this scripture that there is something that grieves God. He is grieved when his people don't know him. You don't know my ways. You like to follow after prophets. You like to follow after prophecies, chasing after prophecies every day, every time you are online, trying to see every Zoom meeting under the sun of all the apostles. You are there. And God says, for all these years you have grieved me, because you are not looking for me. You are looking for my acts rather than look for me. Are you here, somebody? How many are here looking for miracles, chasing after miracles? The reason why you come to church every Sunday is not because you really want to go know God like that. You are just hoping marriage will happen now. Please, let this be the Sunday. God, please, let this be the Sunday I walk away with a man. As if it's some kind of lottery or something. Let this be the Sunday where I just find this girl needs to come now. My wife needs to happen this time. How many of you come to church for the wrong reasons? You might think these people were crazy. How do you see the Red Sea parting and you still don't want to know the person who parted it? Imagine being in a marriage where your wife only wants you for what you have, for the car that you drive. How fat your bank account is, that's what she's after. Imagine having a husband who wants you for only the things that you have. Maybe it's a British passport, and that's the only reason why he loves you. Imagine what kind of scam that is. And yet we are scamming God every day. If it's not good enough for you, why is it good enough for God?